Hello, Sasha!
Hey, Jeffrey! Oh my God, another week, like a little bit more, but what happened?
Well, the United States just nailed its final destruction this week.
Let's start with the big and beautiful reconciliation.
The big, beautiful pile of crap that I thought there was a chance that they would actually vote it down, but the United States is doomed.
But I could just laugh too, ha ha ha. But like, what is the alternative if you don't pass that bill? What's the alternative?
Anything.
No, but
the thing is, we have a $5 trillion deficit.
Okay, we'll be having additional.
Yeah,
okay.
Medicaid in a year and a half is gone for 20 million people. So
let's break it down.
Before we break it down, let's talk about everything that happened.
Okay.
And then in the meantime, this guy is just grifting everybody in every way. Now he came out with his gold telephone. Which is really special because it's not gold. As soon as if you hold it more than 57 degrees, the gold comes off in your hand.
You will have golden hands.
It's just beyond imagination. And meantime, this guy is just screwing Americans every way they can for stupid celebrations and things like that make
Can
no
I just
sense.
ask, like, not just you but other people, at what point it's gonna be enough? Because it's not enough for this guy Trump, but it's at what point people say like, this doesn't smell right anymore. Like, we should have something more solid. We need like a commander-in-chief and president, but this guy is doing something for himself constantly.
Yes, but and then of course now Elon Musk has decided he's going to create the American Party because he's totally against Trump now.
America Party.
Yeah, so who
knows
what's going to happen.
Okay, and in Texas, we just discussed there was a horrific
terrible flooding. With no warning. Why? Because he's fired everybody from the weather
It's not
department.
just. Let me just state it, because it wasn't some kind of like it was a special flooding. It was rush or like there is a lightning or something. Like, it was in 45 minutes. The water rose in like to 6 or 8 feet or something meters.
But it was terrible. But mostly is that there was no real warning because all the people from the weather department have been fired, or they received that payment so they could leave early. So the weather department is screwed, and now he wants to get rid of FEMA. If that happens, then the whole country's screwed, especially Florida.
It just like government should have some funds, or like we need the government. You see, like that. The point is like we need smart government. So instead of cutting the heads from the government, Trump should have just do smart things. But this guy doesn't do smart things.
He doesn't care.
Yeah,
my feeling is that he doesn't care.
But people should care. People should say like their opposition. Opposition.
They can't do anything because of the people that are in the government. This Chrissy Noem, who for me should be, she should be in the alligator swamp, locked away.
Let's not go there, but like she should be fired.
Yeah, everybody, and then the person who I really thought might be a plus in the administration. Rubio turns out to be the worst person in the government.
Not worse, but he is not a factor. Let's put it this way.
He's a big factor in hundreds of thousands and probably millions dying.
Okay, so let's go now.
That's all they care about. I think his idea, Trump's idea of a successful presidency, is how many people he can kill in 1 year.
Okay.
He's doing a good job. He's already killed over 300,000 kids in Africa. He's going to destroy the entire gay community and the LGBTQ community. And in the meantime, all the money is going into his Gestapo, these mass brown shirts, unidentified people who basically can arrest everybody, which means Americans are screwed, Latin Americans are screwed, and if you are any color except white, you're screwed.
So are we screwed or like?
We're next.
Okay. So let's go with
Especially us.
especially us. So let's go with the big and beautiful bill. So like there is no opposition, there is nothing. Nobody was offering anything instead. So that's why like the bill should have passed, and it's passed.
It shouldn't have passed. It was totally partisan, and there a lot of people were offering all kinds of things. But the point is that the Republicans are scared to death of Trump. Everybody, Republicans, piles of people are saying, no, we're not going to vote for it. It's completely wrong. It's a disaster. Some people said that it's a disaster because they're cutting Medicaid. Some people said it's a disaster because of the deficit. And then the day of the voting, they all say, well, I'm not going to vote for it. And then they vote for it.
And there are controversy that people don't talk about. Like, for example, you said, like, because Medicaid and Medicare, that what my take is that what I read actually, that it's if you working and you trying like to you working and you don't get enough paid, you get the Medicaid and you get the Medicare wherever you have the medical insurance, you get it. But if you're not working, or if you're not a citizen or green card holder, you don't get the Medicaid.
Yeah, but the people who really get the Medicaid are children.
Children will have there is a special program for children. It has nothing to do with children. Hillary Clinton actually, who implemented a special, if your parents don't have enough income, you get the health insurance for your kids.
For the biggest catastrophe in Medicaid is not so much that, that the people are going to be thrown off. It's 300 at least hospitals that'll be closed.
I will.
Bad.
Let's talk about this. These hospitals and already the media start talking about one medical center which is about to close in anticipation of cutting of the funds. But think about that. If that facility, medical facility, is closed because they don't get funds for free, to fund the people who trying to gain the system potentially, if they're not eligible, if they're not United States citizen, green card holders, legal residents, they shouldn't be awarded with a free medical insurance.
Okay, but I still think maybe so, but that's a minority of the people.
But why the hospitals then closing?
Because they're in red states. And they're in rural areas. So the difference is all the doctors are leaving. All the doctors are, and especially in states like Texas, because the things that you really needed coverage for, women are totally screwed in this country forever. I mean, if you were dumb enough to get pregnant, move to another country. Because you are
California. What about California?
Okay.
Can you move to California?
No, because California is next.
Okay. So there is a chance that they can survive another year in California.
Yeah, possibly. But if they get pregnant, who knows? The point is that they would rather that you bleed out in a parking lot than actually get service. It's, the horror stories that you hear, and then this complete pompous ass moron JFK Jr. is going to make sure that if you don't die from everything that you might die from, he's going to make sure that you have absolutely at least 20,000 new ways to die.
So the choice is yours: either to put our show to your kids before going to sleep to scare them to death, or just put them like JFK, like RFK, with his conversation.
No, it's
okay. So Jeffrey,
bad.
number one, I think it's debatable about Medicaid, what they doing. So I didn't read enough bill itself to understand. So, and with this Medicaid program that hospitals are closing, I feel it's the same thing what is going on with schools.
There is
Hold
one,
on, hold on,
there's one advantage though, is that the Medicaid cuts, if I understand correctly, won't take place until after the midterms. If that's the case, and I do believe that the Republicans are going to get creamed in the midterms, and if that happens, and if the Democrats or the new American Party of Elon Musk take over the Senate and the Congress, then there will be time to undo all the damage that Trump has done.
I think, number one, I disagree, because I think whenever things like this bill will not touch people, they will not do anything. They wouldn't care. You guys will not care unless something will touches you personally. So I don't think with this bill it will resonate with anybody unless it.
I don't know if that's true. There's
But
too much
let me
damage
finish.
in the bill, because the thing
Damage, you have to feel the damage.
but rich people are going to become richer, poor people are going to become poor, and we haven't even added the tariffs yet, because as soon as you start adding the tariffs, anybody who wants to buy anything for any reason is going to wind up paying at least 8 to 15% more.
Yeah, it could be. But let me finish thought with how it's connected education, the like high schools and stuff like that, K-10 education, and this Medicaid and stuff. So if we fund the schools, and if you have so many kids, each school, the budget of each school depends of how many people, kids, pupils attending the school. So the same thing, the hospitals are closing. If the hospital cannot collect those people, they don't care, like, is it like a paid insurer or like not paid, government paid. They need as many people as possible. So if the government cuts the funding for those people who are not eligible to get, like, who is not United States citizen,
Eligible.
So then, thank you. So then those hospitals cannot sustain, like schools, and that's why, like in California, you have kids who came from other countries with illegals, they illegal immigrants, but the schools, at least in California, they still let them study, and the funds are flowing in those schools.
Yeah, but then we'll see. The other major problem in California is ICE, and the main thing that they've done in this bill is they're going to make ICE a massive brown shirt army, just like in Nazi Germany. And here we have thousands of people without a uniform, without identification, wearing masks, driving unmarked, unlicensed cars. And now the country is going. For me, the country's going to hell. And people, and most people, I've spoken to so many people. Everybody has the same thing. We got to get out. It's not safe to be in America anymore.
Okay, so like, if you just get out, keep in mind I'm gonna be here. I think that this is the greatest country, and we will sort it out. The problem is right now, like. For example, I heard so many complaints that people who came with visas, let's say student visa or tourist visa, they applied for adjustment of status. They some people invent the causes, like they are gays, or they pursued like for their rights, like it's so they applied for political asylum. Then ICE comes to those how do you call it, court hearings, and they take them out, and they say, like, just don't give them any adjustment of status.
What's going on at the court hearings is a scandal. I mean, look, the two most important words in the Constitution for everybody in this country is due process.
They get due process.
No, they don't. They get
No,
arrested.
but we are talking about in the courtrooms.
Yeah, but they leave as soon as they walk out of the courtroom. ICE arrests them.
Not just that, they tell the judge, they force the judge that even the judge kind of like stripped the right of that person to adjust his or her status, because they came in this country with a tourist visa and they adjusted.
But if I understand correctly, they stripped the right just there so they can redo the paperwork properly. But the thing is ICE is waiting for them outside the court, because as soon as the judge strips that right, then for 10 minutes, they're not, 10 minutes they have no right, they're gone. And this is sick.
Okay, Jeffrey, is anything positive happened like during this week that you can tell people? Think hard.
Even the Dodgers just lost the series against Houston. Even that's going bad. So I can't think of anything. I just think that in my own case, I'm getting calls from in the case of the arts, which is what I am. I'm a musician and an artist, and the arts are getting destroyed by Trump because he would prefer to decide who's an artist and who's not an artist, and so
it's not a good place today.
So all the most talented people in this country, especially in classical music, are just getting reamed.
Yeah, so it's a grim situation. So like I think that's about you hit the kind of like the head of the nail. There's no narrative of positive. Everything what's positive kind of turned to be negative. If we want to get rid of illegal immigrants, everybody gets like.
And the worst thing is that it looks like if anybody says anything negative about Trump, whether you're a citizen or not, you're a target. But Trump can say anything negative about anybody in the country or the world, and that's perfectly okay. This is sick.
But I kind of agree, but from the other side, think about this. What is the narrative? What is the like position of any good politician? Is anybody offering anything? How do we get to like a promised land? Like what is positive? Like some ideas to be positive about.
I don't know. Right now, the whole world is changing so drastically between AI and everything else. Plus, when you think about countries like China and Russia, and everybody who's using AI to create weapons that are beyond our imagination, how destructive they are. I'm getting articles all the time about these amazing bombs and torpedoes, and now there's a whole new thing from China about these AI mines that they're setting on, in China, things like that think on their own. They're on the bottom of the sea. They stay there for months and years. And if a ship comes in there, basically aircraft carriers are worthless. It's just a ton of metal that'll be sunk in
time. I thought so.
Yeah.
But again, so today, like I don't think like there is positive narratives coming from people. People kind of like the politicians do not offer anything positive. And that's a problem today with all world. I think the only positive, like in this book, just to understand what is going on and how valuable America is. Let me just say something about.
Let me ask you just one question. What everybody's worried about, are we now at the beginning of a permanent dictatorship?
No, I
Are
think.
you sure?
You ask. I
Okay,
will.
go ahead.
The problem is this: it's not about dictatorship. It's about chaos. The problem with Trump, he doesn't bring the thought through, not just idea, but how to blueprints. He's bringing ideas like I would just tell you something to do, and you would just go and think, oh, will it be happening or not? So he's not bringing the plan. He's bringing ideas like let's raise the tariffs. Oh, it doesn't work. Let's not raise.
The only thing he brings, whoever he spoke to last, he's got the biggest weapon in the world. his idiotic Sharpie.
Yeah,
This whole government is being run by a dictator just doing all these things. Yeah, I can't imagine where all these lawyers are coming from to fight everything he does. Who's paying for 250 lawsuits at any one time? It's insanity.
He became very rich because of his coins and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Plus, he's behind the government.
But that's okay. I'm not talking about that. All these lawsuits are being paid for by the government, not by his money, not by what he's winning.
So bottom line is this: that you're asking, is it a dictatorship? No, it's a chaos. We don't implement anything. We just throw in like illegal immigration. We just like putting people in jail or shifting them out, then bringing them back, lawsuits instead of plan, because it's not just to push somebody out of the country, but it has to be understandable. Who is this person? Why do you do that? And is it worth it to put resources on the big picture? Because you can do like 5 people, 20 people, okay, 100,000 people, but you can do it to 1 million people.
But the other thing is that he's turned this country into what I see as the meanest, unethical place on planet Earth.
And
because he's mean about, the only thing he's not mean about is the money that he grifts out of people. That he loves. But everything else, every policy is to hurt people. There's never a policy to help people. I think that's terrible.
It's one thing, and now like again. But what did we have before Trump? We had a bunch of Democrats who are social democrats who ran down the system. They put like all the hospitals flown with legal, illegal. We cannot pay for those services. Now they say, hey, why don't the rich people pay for these services? Why don't the rich people pay for that? But you cannot.
No, but so instead we pay the rich people instead of paying the hospital.
But it's not about like right now, big and beautiful, this reconciliation bill. Democrats, social democrats, turning is like, oh, there are cuts for rich people. Who cares? Point is, it's totally wrong. It shouldn't be any cuts in this situation. Taxes are low as they are.
Right. There should be no tax cuts.
Absolutely. No. But the problem is not who gets bigger cut. It's all crisis. And no Democrats, social democrats, not Republicans, not Trump, they don't anybody present any good picture, any sustainable.
And what about, the dollar is dying, the bond market's going to be all over the place. Everybody's predicting that for a major stock market crash. What's next?
It's because the policies of each president, and I had my video, who is the worst, who is the best president. And at the end of that video, I show that each president after Bill Clinton adding about $4-5 trillion per term, per 4 years. It's not sustainable, but by each party. So the solution for everything come back to the fiscal policy, to reconciliation, not like taking the cuts for anybody, but to understand what we need to do.
Well, the solution now, the only solution that the Republicans have left for anybody is to fire up those printing presses and start printing more money.
So that's let's end up with this. But what do you think? What should people do? What we have to.
The other thing we all have to be careful. Now he's talking about getting rid of FEMA. You see what's happening in Texas. You see what's happening in California. The fire season is starting, and so many of the people who will be helping to fight those fires are now on the streets arresting illegal immigrants.
So it's a chaos.
And then in Florida, it's getting. And then they have the the alligator Alcatraz, which is ridiculous. I know the Everglades well. I used to go hunting there when I was a kid. So you know,
Jeffrey, it's right now it's a chaos, and there will be like in 2026 there will be voting to the Congress, so we will see who will get like in.
if there's even an election, or
There
if he,
will be. Everything will be
or
fine.
if he doesn't try to subvert the elections between now and then, which I'm sure he will try.
So thank you so much for watching, and
So-
we will see you next time.
And please read the book.
Yes.
Read the book
Yes,
and give us your
so-
comments and like the videos.
Thank you so
Whether
much,
you like
guys.
them or not. Okay, we'll see.
Take
you.
care.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye now.
I think we